all elected to do the best job that we can do. And frankly, I believe you all and folks that aren't here expect us to focus on serving the city's interests and working hard to advance this city in a positive direction and not play kindergarten cop up here. I don't think that is what this council should be doing. I've said it before, and I believe it now still. And I think if we head down this path, we'll get to a place where every meeting we're in a place where someone brings an allegation. This committee now has set precedent, and we're going to have to go investigate it. Bottom line is there's two remedies. If folks have problems with any of us, it's the ballot box and the grand jury, and maybe more if there's other situations. But I'll have the if we're just agendizing whether or not a committee should exist going forward, I guess it's fine, but I'm not going to support it when it's on the agenda at this point.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. But it's not kindergarten cop, and when threats are made, I work in law enforcement. We see threats every day, and in certain issues, and you take it very seriously. And obviously, if it happens to you or your family, it's something that hopefully as a citizen, citizens want you to take things seriously. And like I said, I'm not into policing our own either. I think it does happen at the ballot box. But if something rises to that level and the seriousness, I think we have to take an action. We just can't sit by. So pretty much anything can go on, and we're never going to question or say anything about it. I have a problem with that. And I think if and maybe you haven't done this yet, Gary, but you may want to ask staff and make some inquiries. And I think that you would get a different, view of this thing. And I think it's important to do that, to go out and do the homework. But by no means am I kindergarten cop, and I deal with this stuff on a daily basis and have done it for 25 years. So if I didn't think this was serious, I wouldn't bring it up in discussion. So it sounds like we have 3 to agendize this for a future meeting.
Vice Mayor Detrick.
Yeah, I agree that the options of the grand jury are great, but the tough part is we have the code of ethics, and then there's issues that are above the code of ethics, or much more severe than the code of ethics. And I think that's what Councilman Cooper's referring to. Just philosophically, one thing that really bothers me is the double standards. The mayor hired an attorney to investigate me without authority. And even though it was on the advice of the city attorney, I've privately had chats with both of them, and I hope that never happens to another council person, because it was wrong. None of us individually have that right. And I'm not here to play priest or judge on the actions of my co-counsel, but at the same time, everything they do is we're a reflection of one another. And I'll support it coming back. It's very difficult. Even we can verbally chastise one another, but at the end of the day, we have no authority to do anything. It's very difficult because obviously I've got a huge background on the citizen side, and when you do nothing, it looks like you're trying to hide something. So it's a fine line. I'm willing to bring it back and have a discussion on it. I just don't know if there's no mechanism. I don't see anything we're going to be able to do from it. That's why I'm more with one of the comments Councilman Davis has said in the past: is you praise in public and you criticize in private. And believe me, I've had my share of criticism of many people in this room, citizens included, but I try to do it privately. I don't use the podium and I don't use the dais to speak from to try to do that. But I am willing to have it come back at least for discussion.
Okay. I am not, because I think it's a waste of time. We're going to investigate, set this committee up, going to talk about it, and then we're going to say, okay, we want to do this, but we can't. Legally, we can't do anything. So what's going to come of it? It's just like scolding your child and saying, you do this one more time, I'm going to spank you or time out or whatever. But then all of a sudden you realize, I can't touch this child in public because then it's child abuse. So you end up where you can't do anything. And that's where we are with this. To me, even though Vice Mayor Detrick said that he had conversations with me, no, you did not. You mentioned it kind of in passing. We never sat down and discussed it face to face. But again, that's another issue. It's done. It's over. It's over with. As
Okay,
far as
so I'm clear it was wrong.
Excuse me. I had the direction from our city attorney and was told that this needed to be done following in her directions that she thought she was following from the council was to hire someone to investigate the allegations. When we did that afterwards, I was chastised in closed session. I was chastised in public. I didn't say anything. All I said was that I was following directions and instructions by our city attorney. And I still stand by that. Now, if the city attorney tells me right now we go forward, then we're going to have to look at it because we chastised her as well for moving on such an item that she, according to this council, she had no right to do. So again, I don't know where we're going with this, we're going to have a committee meet, reach a decision, but what do you do with the decision afterwards? Are we going to come out in public and disclose what we found out in this discussion of this committee when they investigate? I don't think so, unless it's going to be done to embarrass the council member. I don't think it's me, but who knows? I haven't heard any names thrown out here. But again, I feel that it's just a waste of time, and I won't support it one way or the other. I will not support the committee, and I won't, I will not vote to have it agendized, and when it does come before me, I will vote against it again as well. Councilmember Cooper.
And that's your right. You can do that to vote against that. But the city attorney never said, and I talked to you about this, Susan, you guys can say what you want, but you never had an indication from the council to go ahead and do that investigation. And I told you back in closed session that you were wrong about that, and the mayor for doing that. Because she's up here, she's one vote like everybody else, whether her title says mayor or not. And I had an issue with that because it was bad legal advice on the part of the city attorney. I'll be honest with that. So it's something that needs to be heard. So right now we have 3 council members that want this agendized. So let's go ahead and let's get it agendized for the next agenda.
And I would say it's not even worth agendizing because you have one council member who said he's willing to have it agendized, but he's not going to vote for it. And the problem is, as we've heard from the city attorney, even if you agendize it, the person for whom this 2x2 would be created can't vote on the item. And so how do we know which of us can talk about it and which of us can't talk about it without bringing it up in an open session, which then you're down to like the idea of the newspaper that prints the damning story on the front page, and then they print the retraction on page 11.
That's politics.
You're damn right it is, Jim. It is political. So now you've just admitted it's political. So are you after a political witch hunt, or you really want to do what's right?
It's politics being printed in the paper, Pat.
No, it's politics what you're doing right now.
It's not a witch hunt, Pat.
Yeah, it is.
So, like I said, obviously, I think we've got our 3 here.
We don't just yet.
Okay.
We haven't.
I think we've got
sure.
3 on there.
We don't have it just yet. I'm going to
Okay.
ask for oral vote here on this one.
I don't think you need a vote. You just need
Well, at least
head
concur
nods.
orally.
It's not a motion. There's no motion
I know
on the
it's not a
table.
motion, but we can ask for concurrence or who's going to be supporting this, the 3 people that want to vote.
Mayor, I've already said I agree to put it on the agenda because I think the community needs to weigh in. And but at this point, I don't. Look, if the issue is with last time, that's a different issue. We should deal with that in a different way. If the issue is with this time, then don't tie it to last time. I think that they're not the same.
Correct.
And but it's embarrassing. I mean,
It is.
it's
It is.
embarrassing. Yes, it is.
Kind of like watching first graders.
Yep.
Okay, so